Now let's take a look at some photos and drawings which illustrate this important case in Varginha. Pictured here in the red sweater is Orelina Augusta, and to the right, Mr. Eurico de Freitas. This is the farming couple who saw a submarine-shaped object at 1 a.m. on the morning of January 20th. The object was 5 meters off the ground, gray in color, and the size of a minibus. It emitted smoke, but there was no sound. The farm is approximately 10 kilometers from the Jardim and Deer district. This is an artist's conception of that strange object coming down at 1 a.m. on January 20th, silently but yet stirring animals on the farm. The gentleman in the center of the photograph is a famous Brazilian journalist, Goulart de Andrade, speaking with farmer Eurico de Freitas and Orelina Augusta. Also present in the picture at the right is Pacacini. It is the morning of January 20th, 8 a.m., when a call came to the Varginha Fire Department reporting that a strange monkey had been sighted and to please come take care of it. Even though the call came to the fire department at 8 a.m., in typical Brazilian style, they responded at 10 a.m. to go get the weird-looking monkey. This is the Varginha Fire Department headquarters. Corpo de Bombeiros de Varginha is its proper title. Bombeiros is Portuguese for firemen. This is number 3 Switzerland Street in the Jardim and Deer district of Varginha. Just to the left is where the fire truck parked and where the children were getting rocks to throw at the creature down the slope. A Brazilian investigator stands at the top of the hill looking down the grassy slope towards the woods and the Santana district or neighborhood in the distance. It was on this slope where the creature was first sighted, and the firemen went down with their nets to try to retrieve the creature as it looked back at them. The creature tried to run from them, but was rather dazed and easy to capture. Two Brazilian investigators stand at the top of this hill. In the middle of the hill is where the creature was actually captured. This is another view down that grassy slope toward the woods with the Santana district in the background. The creature was captured rather easily with a net by the two firemen. Notice the 3 horn-like protuberances on its head and the 3 long fingers. Then the 2 firemen brought the creature in the net up the hillside. It was making a strange bzz, 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 bzz sound as they carried it. The creature was captured. It was in the net. But as they came up to the road, the firemen found that military personnel were waiting for them, and that the military personnel would now take the body. This was witnessed by builder's assistant Henrique Jose. He had seen the 4 firemen capture the creature between 10:30 and 11 a.m. that morning. He saw them put it into a wooden box and then hand it over to military personnel who came on the scene. He reports that the creature was taken to the Escola de Sargentos de Armas, the ESA, which stands for the School of Sergeant at Arms. Still in the net, the creature is loaded into the box by the military personnel. It was then loaded onto the military truck where it was taken away. Here, 2 Brazilian investigators, Gobarajara Franco Rodrigues and Clotaire Covo, are at the site of the first encounter. As you can see, Varginha is hardly a village in the jungle. This is an industrial area with many nice neighborhoods. Just several blocks away from the first encounter is this area where houses are under construction. This was the area where the 3 young women saw the creature on the same day in the afternoon around 3:30 p.m. These are the 3 young women who made that sighting at 3:30 p.m. that Saturday afternoon, January 20th. In the forefront is Lillian, age 16, and behind her, her sister, Valkyria, age 14. They are sisters, and behind them is a young woman, Katia, age 22. All 3 were busy with their jobs cleaning houses, basically working as maids, and they were returning home from work. This is an artist's conception of the 3 women happily on their way home that day. Here the 3 young women decide to take a shortcut. The address of the building where the second creature was spotted is number 76 Benevenuto Bras Vieira Street, which adjoins empty land. They had no idea what they were about to see. Here, a Brazilian investigator crouches in the exact position and location where the creature was seen near the wall, as if it were trying to hide and not be seen by the young women. However, they did catch sight of the strange being and were startled, puzzled by what they were looking at. There, crouching next to the wall and not looking at them, was a strange creature which obviously to them was not any type of animal, nor was it any type of human being. They saw some kinds of protuberances on the head and some strange red veins on the back of the neck and shoulders. But they were not prepared for what they saw next. When it turned its head, they saw the large, glowing, red eyes with no pupils, and they knew that they were seeing something that to them felt like a demon or a devil. They were terrified by this sight. What on earth could possibly look like this? What could have such red glowing eyes and be alive and looking at them in such a way? They had no idea what they were seeing, and they never called it an alien. The 3 women did what just about anybody would do. They ran as fast as they could to get away, screaming and looking for someone that could come back and see what this thing was. But they just wanted to get away quickly. Here the two sisters, Lillian on the right, or on the left, and Valkyria on the right, are seen with their mother, who is on the far right in the red sweater. They found their mother and took her back to that spot where they had seen the creature. Now the mother did not see the creature, but she certainly smelled that strong ammonia that was in the air. Plus she saw two strange tracks which she could not explain. She believed her daughters. She knew they had experienced something very different. 16-year-old Lillian made a drawing, and here she presents it to the famous investigator Ubarajara Franco Rodriguez, one of the two chief investigators, along with Paccaccini, on the Varginha case. This is a close-up of that drawing by Lillian, noting the three horn-like protuberances, the large eyes with no pupils, and she does not even note a mouth, but she certainly remembers the veins which seem to stick out on the back of the neck and shoulders. Here's a drawing made by one of the other two young women. Several months later, Dr. John Mack of Harvard University, who is noted for his studies in UFO abductions, just happened to be in Brazil attending a conference and was brought down to Varginha to meet the two sisters who had seen this creature. He interviewed them for over 2 hours and was quite impressed by their sincerity, their trauma, and their credibility. I talked with him recently in person, and he and I both agree that this case in Varginha is very important, very credible, and these two young girls especially very sincere and sane. In fact, he stated he would stake his diploma on this case. It is believed that that same creature was then witnessed by other civilians and rounded up by military officials later that evening between 10 and 11 p.m. It was first taken to an emergency room, but immediately rejected and taken to the public hospital, which is shown here, the regional hospital in Varginha. It only stayed there for several hours, though. This is an artist's conception of two military personnel taking the captured creature into the regional hospital. After several hours, the creature was transferred to a private hospital, the Humanitas Hospital, on the outskirts of Varginha. On Monday, January 22nd, a convoy of trucks parked here between 3 and 6 p.m. opposite the Humanitas Hospital. A witness told that at 6 p.m. that evening, the second creature was already dead. Witnesses tell that the creature was kept in a quarantined area, heavily guarded by military personnel. Many doctors were seen coming and going, and only a few nurses were able to attend this creature, which apparently died within a day's time. This is an artist's depiction of what witnesses described. The strong smell of ammonia was apparent. The creature was dead. But now there was a new problem. Who would get the body? What would be done with it? Would the military have it? Would the doctors get it? Or would they somehow share in a joint operation? This creature, with the oily brown skin and the big red eyes, was laid out in a box on what Paccaccini called tripods, or what we might call sawhorses. This is another artist's impression, according to testimony by a military witness, of the scene inside the hospital. Soldiers from the Escola de Sargentos de Armas, or the ESA, filmed the scene on a JVC video camera, according to this witness. This second creature was laid in a small box. The military officials present were Lieutenant Colonel Olimpio Wanderley, Lieutenant Tenente Tiberio, Captain Ramirez, Sergeant Pedrosa, Corporal Vasallo, Privates Mello and Carrillo. Many of the doctors were closely watched by the military because they did not want any information to leak out, even though the doctors were mystified and intrigued by this creature. This is the gate at the back of the hospital where a military truck was reported to have pulled up, gone through the gate to get the creature that was now dead. This is how an artist depicted the military truck backing up to the cargo entrance in order to load the body onto the truck. 2 other military trucks were present, and the 3 left in a convoy, perhaps to confuse onlookers as to which truck actually contained the creature's body. At 4 a.m. on Tuesday, January 23rd, a convoy of military trucks and private vehicles, distinguished by a leading Volkswagen van, left Varginha for the Escola Preparatoria de Cadets Campinas. This is the Army Cadet School at Campinas. This is a very big Army base situated approximately 300 kilometers from Varginha. Once the convoy arrived, the creature was transferred to the University of Campinas. There were many Brazilian investigators, and here are some of the more prominent ones. First we have Vittorio Paccaccini, Edison Boaventura. This is Uberjarara Franco Rodriguez. This is Claudio Cover. This is Gilda More, a psychologist who works with abductees in Brazil. She was the one who brought Dr. John Mack to see the 3 girls. Dr. John Mack is from Harvard University. There were other Brazilian investigators who assisted with this case. Many groups worked together on this most important Varginha case. Here, Vittorio Paccaccini meets the press, keeping the media abreast of the investigations that were going on. Sometimes he would brief them daily, sometimes weekly, but the information was well received, and Paccaccini did a good job. The Brazilian media did a good job presenting the facts to the people. This led to perhaps as many as 60% of the Brazilian people in believing that something quite serious had occurred. They were impressed by the number of witnesses, which numbered over 40 first-hand witnesses, and the press was clearly on the side of the people, trying to get to the bottom of this most interesting incident. Although this is a poorly framed picture, the lady on the far right is Terezinha Gallo Klepf, age 67, who reported seeing the strange creature behind the Varginha restaurant when she was outside smoking a cigarette on April 21st. Her husband is on the left. A Brazilian investigator stands at the railing behind the back of the restaurant, posing where the creature did and how the creature stood. Brazilian investigator Claudia Covo holds the drawing that Mrs. Klepf made from her April 21st encounter. Although it's not a very good picture, it depicted brown skin and large, round, red eyes. The skin seemed to be glistening as if slicked down by oil. This drawing is better in quality, but still lacks the right colors, because she did describe a dark brown, oily skin. You can see how she depicts a glistening on top of the head, and here are the large, red, round eyes. It is unclear what this glow is behind the head, but this is the position that the creature was seen. Here again are the three young women who saw the creature crouching by the wall on Saturday afternoon, January 20th. Valkyria, age 14 on the left, Katia, age 22 in the middle, and Valkyria's sister Lillian, age 16 on the right. An interesting footnote: 3 months later, on April 29th, Monday, at 10:05 p.m., the mother of the two sisters was approached by a man who offered her money if she could persuade her daughters to lie and change their story. The mother refused. That is the end of the drawings and photographs.